Hello, lovely people. Turns out the newest Pokémon game takes place in the United Kingdom. Caw, blimey! Does that mean the gym leaders are gonna look like this chuckle duck? Oh, the possibilities of it all. You can be bloody sure that Benedict Cumberbatch will be using Dragon-type Pokémon. But yeah, all jokes aside, the new game does take place in Europe, which they've been to Europe before, which is fine and all, but I was hoping to see them go to another continent, maybe Australia, or South America, or maybe even Africa. And now I can't help but wonder, what would it be like if there was a Pokemon region based around African cultures? Let's find out! So for this video, I decided to imagine a region based around Nigeria. And this little sprite edit that you're seeing me doing is based on that whole idea of a lowland form thing that we saw in Sun and Moon. Now this would be, I guess you would say, Pikachu's Nigerian form. And this form is based on a character from Yoruba mythology, known as Shango, who was the fourth king of Oyo, and also the Orisha, or god of thunder. This powerful god throws lightning bolts at those who do not respect him, and the lightning that hits the earth after heavy rains turns into ancient stone axes. But those who are devoted to the thunder god are blessed with vigor, fertility, spiritual well-being, and are even protected from social injustice. Now at this point, some of you Pokemon fans might be thinking, whoa, you're gonna use a thunder god for Pikachu? Why not save that for a legendary? And my response is, well, Pikachu's the most famous Pokemon, so why not? And we can also just use Shango as reference for legendary as well, right? Why not both? Come to think of it, maybe this Pikachu is a legendary. After all, he would be the Lord of the Pikachu. All other Pikas would bow before him. You know, I know the Alolan forms don't change the names of the Pokemon, like Alolan Sandshrew is just still called Sandshrew, but still, it would be cool if we could change the name of this thing to Pikafu, because in Nigeria and West Africa in general, they have this popular food dish called fufu, which is just a fun thing to say. And you know how Pikachu is obsessed with ketchup, right? Well, this Pikachu would be obsessed with eating fufu. And also, wouldn't it just be adorable to hear him say, Pika fufu, right? That'd be fucking adorable. So, why not? Anyway, before I forget to mention, I really need to make an important note of the fact that if Nintendo ever does go and do a region in Africa, they really need to make sure that they don't go the lazy route of just picking African animals and calling it a day for their Pokemon. They really have to hunker down and do some real research into the cultures so that they can really enrich these Pokemon of theirs with some character. And speaking of which, let me get into the specifics of the cultural influences that I put into this Pikachu. First thing I'll point out is that I'm adding more red to this Pikachu. And the reason for that is because red is, in the Yoruba culture, not only the color that denotes hotness and vitality, but more importantly is the color associated with Shango. But notice I mentioned it's associated with hotness. Well, another thing that is associated with Shango is fire. And yes, that means this Pikachu is an electric fire type. But of course, that's probably not the thing that you were all wondering about. No, you were probably wondering, why did you remove Pikachu's ears? And the answer to that is, just because I could. There really wasn't a cultural reason. I just wanted to do something drastic that would be eye-catching. But later in this video, you will see that I made some alternate versions in which I restored Pikachu's ears. So if you don't like the fact that I removed his ears, if that's too much for you, then you'll see some versions where he has ears again. More importantly, what I did in place of those ears is I added Shango's axe, which of course you heard me already comment about the lightning transforming into the axes. So he has an axe on his head, just like how there are axes on the Shango staffs that you are seeing in the images and the videos, and he also has another axe on his tail. So these staffs are called Oshe Shango, and they are held by female priestesses during dances in honor of Shango. They are among the most abundant objects made for the Orisha. Lastly, you may have been noticing these marks that I've been putting on the axes. Those are references to Yoruba scarification. Alrighty, let's take a look at our final versions of our Pikachus. I made 4 distinct versions, and I would like you in the comments to tell me which one you like the most. I'll be labeling them 1, 2, 3, and 4, so let me know which one you like. But that's not all I have to show you today, because I made another Pokemon. In fact, I made 2 other Pokemon, and they aren't just a Nigerian form of a Pokemon you already know. No, I made an original African-style Pokemon, and it has an evolution. Its first form is this little baby bird that I have named Aerodea, and its typing is Fairy Flying. When it evolves, it turns into this powerful Pokemon, Aruwa. So, let's get into the cultural influences. So, I want to stick with the whole Nigerian theme on this episode. So, for this Pokemon, he or she is based on a Yoruba crown, known as an Ade. And this specific one is the one that I based it on, which was worn by a ruler known as Arawa Yoye the First. So you can see where I got the names of the Pokemon from. But I should note that I did actually look at some other Yoruba crowns as well. The birds that are featured on these crowns are references to the Great Mothers, who are witches who have supernatural powers that are shared by the king. And the bird's elegant tail, represented as a beaded veil, covers the king's face in order to protect the viewer from the king's powerful gaze. And speaking of kings' faces, the faces on these crowns are representative of the local kings of the past and the present. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and perhaps we will do more Pokemon in the future. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more.